I trade spot and futures on BYDFi, and if you want to set up an account now, send me a message once you've created your account with your username and UID on Telegram, and I'll put you into a randomly selected prize draw. I've got $10, $20 and $50 gift cards to give out, which basically go against your trading fees, giving you free trading fees basically until the gift cards run out. BYDFi. Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's get started as things are actually looking quite tasty. Surprisingly good, optimistic I would say. So like I was saying yesterday towards the end of the day, and definitely on the live stream last night, we were basically looking at this as the area, right? The area. So if we're going to get an area for a bounce, it is here. So this is Bitcoin bouncing on that perfectly so far on that Bollinger Band Center. It's front running ever so slightly, but basically to the tick. I mean, you could slide a Rizzler paper through there maybe, but basically we're talking fractions of a percent really before that bounce. So we closed one of these candles like this. This is your spinning top candle body, which is an indecisive one, but it did close green. Yesterday we were stuck between a rock and a hard place. We closed basically in between the rock and a hard place, like literally. Right between the two, and this morning, early hours of this morning, came back down to the rock. So now we're looking to hopefully trend back up to the hard place and possibly break out. It's not just Bitcoin that's done something quite so tasty. If you're talking about entry points, Let's have a look at Ethereum. Ethereum came down to test the absolute perfect trend line, $2,145.15. Well, that's just what it comes down as on my trend line. It's a fat trend line. You can give or take a dollar or two. Right, so again, if you're looking for an entry point, if there isn't an entry point on Ethereum, which is usually the best way to think about alt strength at this point now, this would have been it. This is the time. This is it. It's because the trend line takes us all the way back to not just the prior peak around April 2023, but this super bounce low around here. So it's a significant area, and so far we've retested it. We're having a reaction from it. So let's have a think about the shorter term timeframes and if there's anything that they can offer us potentially. So when it comes to looking at momentum, what we do have now is bullish divergence on the 4-hourly on Ethereum. It's not extremely pronounced, but it does exist. MACD is down below the 0 point. No positive histogram ticks on this one as yet. Though we could even wick down to this level, which is a little bit further down, the 4-hourly, 200 simple and exponential and Bollinger Band bottom, which is $2,109. This will slowly change throughout the day, but roughly the 2,100 area, it could sustain a wick into it. But really, if we start closing down below this 2,150, and absolutely if we start closing down below 2,100, we'd be in trouble for Ethereum. But at the moment, as of this very moment in time, things that are more than optimistic, things that actually look opportunistic. And you could apply this same sort of idea across the board to everything, really, because if we're going to get a bounce on Bitcoin and Ethereum, I would expect a bounce pretty much on everything. So let's have a think about the total 2, which basically is everything. What's that done? So the dump the other day hit that Bollinger Band Center, ricocheted all the way up, closed above the 10 exponential. This morning came down, bounced on the 21 exponential. So far, having a reaction, a reasonable reaction. Let's have a look at the shorter term time frames. What have we got going on over here? So similar to Ethereum, and in a way a little bit better actually, if we did pull back down to the trend line, that major support, that's also backed up by a 200 simple and exponential on the 4-hourly as well, which would be the first major golden cross retest since taking the cross back down here. So again, that is all would not be lost. This would be the contingency plan. This would be the last opportunity really to try it, and if it fails, it fails, and if it doesn't, it's going to be significant. But we might already be bouncing at the moment. This might get tested a little bit later on down the line, over the next week or two. But for the moment, it looks good. I have to say, it definitely looks good. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, total 2, all based around the daily supports, all look really good right now. So tasty opportunity, blah, 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 blah. So with that said, you know, there's not much point in going on too long on this video because that is the nature of the market right now. We'll have a look at the Dixie very briefly. Dixie, again, Dixie in itself is in a rock and a hard place at this moment on the daily. It's not giving too much away. I think the FOMC meeting's today as well, so that might do something to it. But I think the future of Forex is more or less on the table really at the moment, which allows charts to be more realistic. So yeah, the 4 hourly is still technically underneath the bearish death cross, looking for rejections anywhere around 104.3, 104.5, and if we break above those, then yeah, I think we probably will be looking for a reversal on the dollar at that point. But until we see that, I don't really see any reason to call any kind of reversal. It's kind of stuck in no man's land really. Really, I don't really see too much merit in trying to overcomplicate things and dissect the markets any further. Sometimes that is basically all you really need to do. If you ever want to get a position in anything, Bollinger Bands are usually the greatest place to do it from, and that's what Bitcoin's done. And that's not to undermine that Ethereum lost its Bollinger Band on a wick basis. It certainly hasn't on a candle body basis. But Ethereum's retest of the super trend line, yeah, that major horizontal, is as important, I would say, as Bitcoin's Bollinger Band. So at this very moment in time, right now, based on what we see, things look good. Things can change. I'm going to deny you that. Obviously, things can change. But entry points exist as we speak. And invalidation points exist down below these levels. So remember that. I know that everybody generally watches, you know, most people who watch this, you know, my channel are subscribers. I think I'm like, my viewers are like 75% subscribed, which is good because it means if you know, people obviously find value in here and they stay here and they watch it. But occasionally you'll get people go, wait a minute, you said it was definitely going to go up and it's gone down. Yeah, you know, obviously in trading, you do have to account for you know, being incorrect. The idea is that you don't lose money, right? So that's the idea, which is why we talk about invalidation points. So if it goes down and starts closing below a certain level, the setup that we're very fond of, the most likely scenario at the moment, which looks like it wants to point up, is invalid. So you don't hold on for the rest of your life in hope that one day that failed setup will then suddenly re-emerge as victorious. No, because the setup itself has failed. You can't expect that setup to. You can't wind back time and see if it plays out in a different way. It's not a simulation. It's not a simulation. You can't. This isn't Football Manager where you can just think, oh, I lost the game. Let's reload. Let's reload. See if it happens again. No, there's one setup. There's one invalidation, and you will know if you're wrong if it starts to go the other way, and you can nip it in the bud. But for the moment, this does look like it can continue up, and if it's going to do it from anywhere, it's going to do it from here. The reactions aren't particularly strong. I have to give you that. Give that to the bears. That the reactions aren't like super powerful at the moment, at least on Bitcoin and Ethereum. But that does not mean that it's not. It's more likely. Let's put it like that. It's just more likely to go back up from here than it is to break down. Only by about 65%. Yeah, that's the Bollinger Band statistical likelihood of staying above this range. We've got a clear support on it. We're more likely to remain above it. We're more likely to bounce on it to the tune of 65%. So, you know, that's not great odds, but the odds are in the favour of upside. So, 65%. If I always say this, you know, if I was sitting in a doctor's office and say, well, we've checked your results and you have a 65% likelihood of surviving, I probably wouldn't be able to sleep that well that night, to be honest with you. That doesn't sound great, but it's better than the alternative, you know, which is 35%. So odds are in my favour. Right, so I'll leave it with you there. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.